and USA won the World Cup, buddy.
We won.
Yeah. Because Ronaldo lost his what's his name? The mom.
Rick, are you just talking to yourself or something? Because you are.
Eric, that was no blue Doritos.
Red?
Those ones were red. There was only one red.
Black.
That Rick got the last black.
Oh my. Then what are there? Bro.
Oh yeah, can I come in there? I was going with my birthday. I got last one. Yes, I did. I gave you one, and then Eric got one. Now, I'm not like you, Eric all had one.
Eric.
Huh?
Because Mama put these in the refrigerator. That's the last one.
You come out in a box. You got the one in the box.
No one ever put the refrigerator. There's none.
Yeah, go check the fridge.
There's no box. Mama had threw all these boxes and stuff away. I'm gonna check the fridge. There's none. I'm gonna do it first and then I open it.
Eric, I'm going with the black chickens. I'm about to go check if there's. Eric, can you play hypershot for me? Eric, you can say you can get this. Cool.
Man.
And he said, yo, I'm getting me.
He wanted
Yeah.
Close the door here.
Hey, chicken scissors, some blue Doritos.
Close the door.
Eric, Tiki lied.
I got these ingredients.
He lied about what?
Dad, I got me some chips. Hey, could I use your charger? Okay. Wait, let me turn on low battery mode. Dang, it just showed 10, but now it's on 9. I'm about to be watching YouTube to make it go slower too. That's the double slow. By the way, if you're watching YouTube, then wait, I equip all powers at the same time. Getting roasted at school. Okay.
With Walmart's college finds, you can make the influence real.
I mean,
All this for your 40 followers?
Manifesting 4 minutes.
Hey Tyler, why are you wearing a hat? No reason. Did you get a bad haircut? No. Okay, then take the hat off. No. Take it off. Take it off. Fine. Here's the thing nobody tells you about school. They tell you school is a place of learning, a place of growth, but that is a lie. School is a war zone where every single person is walking around with one goal in mind. Find a reason to absolutely cook you. And the second they find a weakness, any weakness at all, they will not hesitate. You got a bad haircut? You're cooked. Your shoes look a little off? You're cooked. You raised your hand and got the answer wrong? It's over. And I would know because for a large portion of my childhood, I was the one getting cooked. So today, we're talking about getting roasted in school, including a story about the time I got roasted for something so horrible that I didn't go back to school for a week. Now, everyone watching this video has probably experienced getting roasted at school before, but what you've probably never realized is that it's never random. There's always a reason. And unfortunately,
I had a very good reason to be roasted in school.
because growing up, I genuinely did not know what a barber was. I thought a haircut was just something that happened to you in your garage against your own will. Because my mom cut my hair every single time. Now, did my mom go to school for cutting hair? Did she have any training, any experience, any natural talent whatsoever that would help with this? No. But for some reason, she was fully confident that she could do it. And I, being a small child with no rights, had no say in the matter. So I would sit on a stool in the kitchen, a towel around my neck, and my mom would go to work with whatever scissors she could find. Not even hair scissors, just the regular house scissors. The same ones we used to open packages and cut coupons were now being used on my head. I swear one time the scissors went by my nose and it smelled like chicken. So I'm pretty sure she also used those for cooking. But the results of these haircuts were a disaster every single time. I'm talking diagonal hairline. Like my hairline was literally going downhill like a ski slope. One side would be higher than the other. There would be random chunks missing in my hair that I wouldn't even find out about until somebody at school would point it out. I looked like I lost a fight with a lawnmower, and then I'd have to go to school looking like that. And let me tell you, kids notice a bad haircut immediately. It's like they have a radar for it. I'd walk in trying to keep my head down, trying to be invisible, but within seconds, I'd hear it.
Hey Tyler, did Helen Keller cut your hair?
Why does your hairline look like a stock market graph?
And the worst part is, I couldn't even defend myself because they were right. I had no comeback for the next month and a half until my hair didn't look completely chopped anymore. And asking for a real haircut was not an option. I once worked up the courage to ask my mom if I could go to an actual barber. And my mom looked at me like I'd personally insulted her. She went,
Why would we pay for that when I could just do it myself?
I don't know, maybe because I don't want to look like I just lost a fight with a baboon? Like, have you ever considered the possibility that there's a reason your haircuts are free and the barbers aren't? If anything, I should be the one getting paid for my hair to look like this. But the thing about a bad haircut is you can't hide it. You can't wear a hat because schools make you take that off. So you just have to walk around looking like a circus show for everyone to see. But the worst part about having a bad haircut was picture day, because picture day always seemed to land right after a fresh haircut from my mom. So there is photographic evidence of these crimes being committed against me. There are school photos of me out there frozen in time with a hairline doing things a hairline should not do. And those pictures would get framed on a wall. They would get mailed to relatives. And if you want me to show them to you, I am absolutely not doing so. Because just look at the comments under any of my videos right now. You guys already make your profile pictures chop photos of me. So I'm definitely not giving you any more ammunition. But most of my trauma of being roasted at school doesn't even come from other students. Because unfortunately, every school has that one teacher who is secretly the most savage roaster in the entire building. And the worst part is, you can't do anything about it because they're a teacher. They have full immunity. You can't clap back at a teacher. If you roast a student, that's a fair fight. If you roast a teacher,
that's a one-way ticket to the principal's office.
So these teachers walk around with total freedom, knowing that nobody can touch them. And some of them use that power for pure evil. Because I had this one teacher who was the single most feared person in my school. And not because she was strict, but because she would cook you in front of everyone with zero warning. You'd walk into her class 2 minutes late, trying to sneak to your seat real quiet. And she'd stop the entire lesson just to say,
"Oh, hey, Tyler. Did you have explosive diarrhea, or do you have an actual good excuse for why you're not on time?"
And she'd say that in front of the whole class. But what are you gonna respond with? Nothing. You can't say,
"Well, I know you ain't talking with those wrinkles on your face."
You just have to sit down and take it while everybody else laughs. And she had a comeback for everything. You could not win against this woman. Like this one time, a kid tried to talk back to her, and she didn't even get mad. That was the scary part. Instead, she slowly turned around and said,
"I'm sorry. I didn't realize the kid with the D- in my class had his own opinions. Please, enlighten us, Gerald."
Gerald never spoke again in that class. I'm pretty sure the teacher just loved to cause drama because she had this thing where she would read test grades out loud. You know how most of the time when you get your test results back, the teacher will pass them around with the paper facing down so no one else can see your score? Well, she did the opposite. Now she would say she did this to
hand back the papers efficiently,
but we all knew the truth. She did it for the drama. She'd be flipping through the stack going,
"Jared, you got an A, good job. Ryan, you got a B+, not bad."
But then she'd get to a bad score and just pause. And that pause was the scariest sound in the world because you knew somebody was about to get exposed. You could only hope it wasn't you. Then she'd hold up the test and go,
"Now, somebody in this class got a 34%.
And she wouldn't even say the name. She didn't have to. She would just let everyone look around trying to figure out who the 34 belonged to, and then she would do the stare. She'd stare directly at the person who got that score while saying something like,
"This is why we really need to study before tests, guys."
Also, she gave people nicknames. That was her ultimate weapon because a nickname from a teacher sticks. One time, a kid stuck a piece of gum underneath his desk and she caught him in the act.
Okay, I'm cooking. One shot. Let's go. One Piece Bounty Rush. Play now.
The font, the buttons, even the sound it makes when you type.
I will scream the baddest words.
So she changed his name to Gumwad. She had the power to rename you, and once she did, it was permanent. Everyone called him Gumwad for the rest of the year. Another time, there was a kid who answered a question wrong in a really memorable way, and from that point on, she started calling him by the wrong answer he gave for months.
New students who joined later didn't even know his real name. They just knew him by the dumb thing he said
when answering a question.
She was like the final boss of the entire roasting hierarchy. Not everyone in school is roastable though, because here's how it works. The reason some people are an easy target is because they won't fight back. They're safe to roast. There were no consequences.
You could say anything to them and they'll just
take it. So
why wouldn't people keep doing it?
But the kids who could roast back, nobody touched them. Because the moment you roast someone who's actually good at it, you're taking a huge risk. You throw one little joke their way and they fire back with something so devastating that now you're the one getting laughed at. So people learned real quick who was safe to roast and who wasn't. And the kids who weren't safe, the ones who would clap back instantly, they walked around with this invisible force field. People just left them alone. Not because they liked them more, but because they were scared of the consequences. So roasting became less of a hobby and more of a self-defense mechanism. It was armor. If you couldn't defend yourself, you were a sitting duck, and the whole school knew it. You had to learn how to fire back, or you'd spend every single day as somebody's punchline. It wasn't even about being mean. It was about survival. You learned to roast,
or you learned to suffer.
Those were the only two options. And unfortunately for me, when I was younger,
I had not yet learned to roast,
which made me a prime target. And it didn't help that I gave them so much material to work with. Because on top of my horribly chopped haircuts, I had the wardrobe of a kid who got his school clothes from TikTok. TikTok shop. You see, I was the youngest in my family.
I still am the youngest, but you know what I mean.
But being the youngest comes with one major curse: hand-me-downs. I got nothing new, ever. Everything I own used to belong to my older siblings. My shirts, my pants, my jackets, all of it was extremely used by the time it reached me. And the problem with hand-me-downs is that nothing ever fit me right. My clothes were either way too small, way too big, or they had mystery stains on them. If any of my brothers are watching, please just never tell me what those stains are. I don't think I want to know. So I'd pull up to school wearing the outfit of someone who just got dress coded and had to switch my clothes for something the school gives you. It was horrible. But the worst part about it wasn't even the fact that some of these clothes fit like a dress. It was the fact that when you have old clothes, they just naturally have this odor to them. It's not horrible smelling, but it just smells stale. It's like when you walk into an old person's house. And I already had it hard enough trying to get girls, so this did not help. The style of these clothes were also totally outdated, so I'd be wearing fashion trends from a few years ago. It's like if I were to wear skinny jeans today. And trust me, the kids at school definitely let me hear their opinions on my clothes.
Did you steal your shirt from Shaq?
Bro, did you get dressed in the dark today?
Hey, I think I saw that jacket in my mom's closet.
I'm making it sound like my family grew up dirt poor and I had no choice but to wear my siblings' old clothes, but no, that's not the case at all. As much as I would love to act like everyone else who says they started from the bottom and they used to be super broke, like there would be nights where they couldn't even afford dinner, that was definitely not what my childhood was like. I had like a middle-class family, never worried about having a roof over my head or just being fed. My mom simply just thought,
since we already had clothes in my size, she didn't need to buy me new ones.
So if you ever hear me be like, I lived in the hood when I was younger, man, we had to get it out the mud. I used to cut up pieces of ice and put it inside bread, and I called that a water sandwich, and that would be my dinner. But if you ever hear me say anything like that, just know I'm LARPing. I didn't grow up like that. But the clothes weren't even the worst part. But this reminds me, I think everyone has that one friend who has a new problem every week. Like they're always either sick or breaking a bone. Like my friend called me freaking out once because his eye had been twitching for 2 days straight and it didn't stop. So he thought he was going blind. But instead of doing the normal thing, like asking a medical professional about it, he starts searching his symptoms online. Within 30 seconds, he's convinced
he has some ultra rare condition that only affects one person every 100 years.
In reality, he just drank too many energy drinks. But this is why if you've ever been in a situation like this, you should stop guessing and just use ZocDoc, today's video sponsor. It's a free app and website that helps you find doctors who take your insurance, lets you read real patient reviews, and makes it easy to book appointments online. Instead of calling office after office and sitting on hold forever, you can filter by exactly what you're looking for and see doctors with appointments that actually fit your schedule. He could have found a doctor with an opening the next day if he just used ZocDoc instead of Googling it. If you've been putting off finding a doctor, go to ZocDoc.com or click the link below to download the free ZocDoc app and book an appointment today. The worst part was the phone situation. You see, my parents had this rule.
No phone until you're 13.
And I get it now, looking back.
Getting a phone might be the single worst thing that ever happened to my brain development.
But at the time, not having a phone was horrible for my social life because all my friends were getting phones way earlier. By the time we hit a certain age, everybody had a phone except me. They'd all be standing around at lunch on their phones, texting, playing games, doing whatever. And I'd be standing there with nothing. But I wasn't completely empty-handed. Oh no, because I had an iPod. And let me tell you, pulling out an iPod in a sea of iPhones is one of the most embarrassing things you can do. The second I pulled that thing out, it was over.
Bro's texting on an iPod, and you got the Wi-Fi on your phone?
They didn't even have to actually be good jokes because I was the joke. They could say whatever they wanted and people would laugh because the thing that was funny was me. But also, the iPod could only do stuff on Wi-Fi. So I'd be sitting there trying to look busy on a device that didn't even work half the time. And I tried so hard to make that iPod look like an iPhone. Like back then, iPods were rounded at the back while iPhones were rectangular shaped. So I literally bought a case that made your iPod look like an iPhone just so I could fit in. But since an iPod can work on Wi-Fi, I thought I would be able to use it at school if I simply just connected to the school's Wi-Fi. But honestly, I should have just left that dang iPod at home because school Wi-Fi might literally be the worst invention of all time. I logged onto the Wi-Fi with my
Ready?
The Devil Wears Prada 2 has come home to Disney Plus and Hulu.
Bit of a holy grail. That's what makes it so exciting.
And they're sizing up
iPod for the first time one day, hoping I would be able to read texts in the group chat my friends were in. But all that school Wi-Fi did was make everything on my iPod not work. Like, I don't know what type of spells they're putting on that school Wi-Fi, but I couldn't even play any of the games on my phone anymore. When I tried searching stuff on Google, it never worked. Literally, the only thing that did work was when I would search the school website. So I was a walking, talking roast target. Bad haircut, hand-me-down clothes, and an iPod. I checked every box. I would have roasted myself too if I had a choice. Like, I basically had the full starter pack for getting cooked. cooked. And no matter what I did,
somebody always found a new angle. There was always something to point at.
And it wasn't even just the other kids I had to worry about, because some of the most dangerous roasters in that school weren't kids at all. But before we get to them, we need to talk about the hierarchy, because not all roasters are created equal. You see, in every school, there's a ranking system when it comes to roasting. And at the very top, you've got what I like to call the S-tier roasters. These were the kids that everybody feared. You, under no circumstance, would you ever mess with them, because their roasts weren't just jokes.
They were executions.
They could end your entire existence
with one sentence.
They had a gift, and that gift was called wit. They could look at you for half a second, find your single most insecure feature, and turn it into a one-liner so clean that the whole room would erupt, and you'd have to go home and reevaluate your life. And the scary thing about the S-tier roasters is that you couldn't fight them. There was no clapping back.
If you tried to roast an S-tier kid,
you were signing up for failure.
You throw your little joke, feeling brave, and they'd come back with something so brutal that people would be talking about it for weeks. I remember one time an S-tier roaster said to me,
"Hey Tyler, you really light up the room when you leave."
So the smart move was to just stay out of these people's way entirely. You keep your head down and you never make eye contact. Because what made them so terrifying is that they were fast. There was no delay. A normal person needs a second to think of a comeback. But the S-tier roaster had a comeback ready before you even finished talking. It was like their brain had a separate processor just for roasting. But there wasn't just one type of S-tier kid, because once you start paying attention, you realize there are several distinct type of roasters in every school. You've also got the silent assassin. They don't roast often, but when they do, it's lights out. Then you've got the tryhard. This is the kid who wants to be S-tier so bad, but they just overdo it. They roast everybody constantly about everything, but like half of their roasts don't even land. They're throwing jokes at the wall hoping one sticks. And because they do this so much, eventually people stop being scared of them, because you can't be feared if you're trying too hard. It just takes away all your aura. Quality over quantity, my guy. But then you've got the kid who can dish it but can't take it. And this one is the most annoying type by far, because this kid will roast you mercilessly, talking to them, because you can't be feared if you're trying too hard. It just takes away all your aura. Quality over quantity, my guy. But then you've got the kid who can dish it but can't take it. And this one is the most annoying type by far, because this kid will roast you mercilessly, talking all this trash, acting like they're the funniest person alive. But the second you fire one little joke back at them, they fold. They get all quiet, or they get genuinely upset. They might even tell a teacher on you. This is the kid who can throw a punch but can't take one. And once people figure that out, it's over for him, because everyone just starts firing back just to watch them crumble. But then you've got the wild card, the kid who just laughs at everything. They don't even care about roasting themselves, they just want to be involved. And they're also immune to being roasted, because they think everything is funny, including jokes about themselves. You roast this kid and they'll laugh harder than everyone else. You literally can't hurt them because they enjoy it. And there's something kind of beautiful about that, honestly. The wild card achieved a level of peace the rest of us could only dream of. But there's one more type I have to mention, which is the recycler. This is the kid who is not creative at all, but he's memorized a bunch of roasts he heard from other people and he just reuses them. They never come up with anything original. But a category of roaster you never want to be in is the bully. This is the person whose roasts aren't even sarcastic or funny. They're literally just meant to hurt your feelings. Their only goal is to make people laugh at you, not with you. Don't be this person. Something I also despised in school.
Look, somebody doodled in the corner. Look, it's doodle right there in the corner by the phone. Mop that up. Ooh, that's dookie. Ooh. Is that human? Alright, get out, sir. I'm gonna throw her body at the back. Well, you do that while I take the customer.
Was when people would just roast you for something that wasn't even clever. So that was the world I was living in, surrounded by S-tier kids, tryhards, and teachers who roasted for sport. And in this world, I was at the bottom. Now, I've told you most of the reasons I was an easy target to roast when I was younger, but we haven't been over the final boss yet.
The one thing that makes you so easy to roast, and when you have this one thing,
there's no way to defend yourself.
Because growing up, I was a little chubby, and I was pretty shy. That combination made me the perfect victim. The chubby thing meant there was always an easy joke available. Anytime anyone wanted to roast me, they didn't even have to be creative. They could just go for my weight, and the joke would land every single time. But the shy thing meant I could never fight back. I would just take the jokes, turn red, and stay quiet. So I had the two worst traits you could possibly have. But even if I wanted to roast someone, there was no point, because I knew exactly what would happen if I did. The second I tried to roast someone, they'd just go for my weight, and that would be the end of it. There's no point in you even trying. And there is nothing worse than being chubby when you're in a roast battle. You could have friends who went to prison, have missing limbs, anything, but you'll still get cooked the most if you're just a little bit pudgy. So after a while, I kind of just accepted that I was always gonna get roasted. But then something happened. One summer, between school years, I decided I was tired of it. So I spent that summer getting in better shape. I didn't become a bodybuilder, but I was just, well, not fat anymore. But what I didn't realize was what would happen when I came back to school. Because walking back in that first day was a strange feeling. I didn't really know what